Hi guys, welcome to the 13th session on shell scripting. Yes, shell scripting for exclusively DBS, and as I have said in the last session, in the session number 12, that this session is going to only concentrate on common shell features and then differing shell features. But the thing it has been changed. I am going to cover not only common shell features and different shell features, but I'm also going to start the seventh chapter where we will be starting up writing our own tools which are specific to the DBAs with whatever skills we have learned so far. So making a note of this, I just wanted to give you an introduction about what we are about to do in this complete session, and then we will quickly start this one with common shell features and differing shell features, and then we will directly jump into the seventh chapter where we start writing the tools. So let me come back to the index, and then we will discuss from there. So as you see here, yeah. So in the common shell features, this is a topic that will give you the list of commands which are common across any shell that you work on. So basically, if you are trying to write a command or a script in Bash or Bon or C shell or Corn shell, whatever it is, definitely there are every command which might work on Unix, sorry, which works on Linux might not work on AIX. The only reason is the default shell on Linux being Bash and the default shell on the AIX being Con. So that's the reason, there are commands which works on Bash and those commands might not work on AIX. So there are common commands which works on all the platforms or all the shells are available in the market, and there are also commands which doesn't basically understand depending on the shell that you have logged in. So we are going to understand what are they only in the tabular format in this topic, and also in this topic the features of the shell which doesn't actually support on one and doesn't support on other, something like this, in a very good tabular format, so that you can compare then and there whether that command works fine on Bash, Bon, Con, and also C shell or something like that. And after that, we are going to quickly start the storage check tool, which is very, very important for the DBAs. Saying that, why is it very important? Because storage tool is something where we will be actually dealing up with the tool that can perform two categories. What are the two things that our tool can perform? One, it can help you to find out the table space utilizations of all the databases on the database, on the server. That means you can, as soon as you run this tool, you can specify to which database you wanted to go and find out the table space utilizations. As soon as you go and select the database name, then it will be giving you the list of table spaces that are available on that server. And after you pick up what table space you wanted to go and look at the details yet, then it will be listing out the complete information about that table space. So when I say complete information about the table space, it will give you the size of the table space, free size, and then maximum size that it can extend up to, and then how many number of data files that it has got, something like this. And the second part of the same tool will allow you to resize the data file of any table space on the server. So that is what will be the second part of this tool. So that's the reason I just gave the tool name as storage check tool, and we are going to execute this to see how does it work. And please guys, remember, I am not going to just copy paste tool from anywhere from my scripts already. I am going to write this tool right from the scratch on the screen to show you what is the best method of writing the script. I can actually go and write the script completely off this session and then copy paste that into this session and then explain you what each and every step does. But that doesn't give you a very good feeling of learning something from this course. So that's the reason what I have decided was, whatever tools I am going to write, or whatever tools I have decided to actually include in this course, all these tools I will be writing this script on the screen in front of you so that you understand the process of writing a shell script and the approach that the shell script has to basically in case if you want to write a shell script, what should be your approach and how do you approach. That will give you a very good insight. That's where I believe that let me actually type everything on the screen along with you so that you see how do I basically divide the job and then start writing it, how do I call the functions, and how do I make sure that at every stage I am performing some basic testing. So that's where we might be spending little good enough number of minutes in this session, not just 40 minutes or something. It might also extend depending on how critical or how complex we wanted our tool to be. But still, I have come up with what these tools have to be done. I mean, what these tools has to do, and then I have also come up with the plan of approach also. So that's what I'm going to discuss after completing common shell features and differing shell features. So as you see on the screen, let me directly jump to common shell features now. Alright, so common shell features. The following features are the standard in every shell. So note that stop, suspend, jobs, BG and FG commands are only available on the systems which support job control. So job control is one of the features on the operating system. Only on the Unix platforms which supports job controls, you will have these commands working there. Apart from them, these are the commands which works on any of the shell features. Greater than, double greater than, append to a file, less than, that means redirect from an input, double less than is here is the document or redirect the input, pipe, ampersand, that means running the background in the process, semicolon to separate the lines, star to match characters in a file, question mark to match a single character in a file, closed braces, square braces somebody call and match any characters enclosed, open braces to execute in a subshell, and then backticks to substitute output of an enclosed command, and double quotes is a partial quote, allows variable or command expansion, single quotes, backslash, $var, value of that variable, double dollar is the process ID from which the script will basically run, and then $0 is the command name, $n is the nth argument that you basically pass, hash is the begin the command, BG is the background execution, break, CD is change directories, continue, echo, evaluate arguments, execution, FG foreground execution, jobs, killing, new group, shift, stop, suspend, time, umask, unset, wait. And along with this, you can also include the date command, which so far whatever operating systems have seen, on every operating system, date command will basically work. So these are the list of commands which you will find working on any of the shells that you work. Now let us see the list of differing shells. That means I have only took the 4 things as the to comparison. SH is normal Bourne shell, bash is born again shell, KSH is Korn shell, CSH is C shell. So SH, this is the default user prompt. So the user prompt that you see will be $ for SH, bash for bash again $, and Korn is $, and CSH is %. And force redirection, greater than symbol is the force redirection, and yes, if you want to redirect, and also if you have some error, you wanted to redirect, you can do it, and this is also possible in bash. So I'm not going to go in detail about this. These are the only options that says that see $@ is something that works in born again and Korn, but it doesn't work in C shell. Similarly, $! Works in these 3, but it doesn't work in C shell. Something aliases works, alias syntax is different here, assigning alias syntax is different here, and assigning alias syntax is different here. So syntaxes is also something that you have to look at. So if you see here, if you want to close a case statement, you must be using ESAC, that is reverse. It is same in bash, Bourne and also Korn, but it is something different here. End SW, switch, that is what it is. So these are the things that you have to actually use, and whenever you start the for loop in Bourne again and bash, and then your Korn shell, you have to, for loop starts with do, but here it starts with each. Okay, so I'm not going in detail about this. There are few things which doesn't work on Bourne, but works on Bourne again, and also works on other things, but the syntaxes are different, definitely. So these are the list of things which are definitely different, or which might be differing from these things. And pwd is something that doesn't work on C shell, that is dirs is the command that works. Ulimit is not available in C shell, instead it is limit. To end an if loop, you basically write fi but here it is end if. Alright, so this is how it works. So now let me begin the tools development for the DBS, having discussed how the tabular column that I have given will help you to identify whether the commands works properly or not. Now let us quickly jump into how do we basically, for example, if you decide to write a tool or write a script, how should you basically approach will be the first discussion now. So we know that we are about to create a storage check tool. First of all, write them or write in detail or in a short, or you can write in any format that you wanted, but first of all just decide yourself what are the list of activities that your tool should perform, or whether you are writing a tool for one dedicated activity or you are writing a tool for multiple activities. That's what the first picture that should be clear in your mind. So having that picture clear, please make sure that you write what are the options you wanted that particular tool to actually do to simplify your job. So for me, the storage check tool should be able to check the table space utilizations on any database that I give on the server. And then after that, it should also allow me to resize the data file. These are the two major things that my tool have to perform in general. So this is very, very at higher end. Now I will be going deeper and deeper into the, how should I basically design the first option. To design or to achieve the first option, what to perform. To achieve the second option, what to perform is what the decision will be taken now. So after you decide what your tool has to perform, then you write down the logical flow whenever you are selecting an option. So first thing is, if you want your tool to check the table space utilizations on the database, first thing is ask the user to which database it has to check. That means you have to give the list of databases available on the server, and you have to allow the user to select the database to which they wanted to actually access. After they select the database name, then you have to set the environment variables of that database throughout the script. And after you set the environment variables of that database, then connect to the database and then list out all the table spaces existing in that database. And also again ask user to pick which database he wants to, table space he wants to check. And after that, what is that you will be giving? You will be giving complete analysis of the table space, including used size, free size, extensible size, data files, and mount point utilizations wherever data files reside. This is also very important, right? And then quit from the tool. Once you do the job, whatever user wants, the next thing is you quit from the tool. That's it. This is the logical flow that I define myself before I start writing the script. Without these things, without having a clear picture of what you wanted by the end of the tool, by end of writing this script, definitely it is very, very tough for you to go and achieve your goal. That's the reason having a very clear picture of what your tool has to do is the first thing that you have to make it out. Better thing is, if you are the beginner, you can write it on the notepad like this, or you can write in your scribble pad or the notepad that using a pen and paper. That also works fine. But definitely having a very clear picture makes your scripting job very, very easy. And now coming to the second option in the tool, it should be able to resize a data file. And as soon as the user selects this resize, definitely again you should ask to which database he want to connect. So it should be asked for which database it has to connect actually. So that can be this one. So after connecting to the database, you should set the environment variables of that particular database environment throughout this tool, and then connect to the database and the list of table spaces and also data files, and then ask for which data file it has to resize and receive the next size to set. So definitely if you want to resize, you should definitely see what is the current size of the data file, and also you should ask what should be the next size. And then you resize the data file and then quit the tool. This is the logical flow for these two options that I have come up for one tool, that is storage check tool. So before we think about backup tools, which I have again listed what the logical flow should be, let us basically complete this particular tool and then we will step forward to the backups tool. Alright, so let me connect to my environment first. So this is my setup where I have two databases actually available, so I have to bring up those two databases. So let me actually set the environment variables of first database and then bring it up, SQL plus /SSDBA, and then I'll start it up, and also I'll be bringing up the second database, that is SQL plus /SSDBA, and then I'll start up the second database as well. So I'll just say startup, and then exit, and then set the next environment variables. That should be Aura CDB2, and then afterwards SQL plus /SSDBA. Please do not worry, it will be going up sequentially. So after exit from the SQL prompt, again it will set environment variables, and then Aura CDB2 will be passed, and then again SQL plus /SSDB I have given, so it should connect to the second database environment as well. So let me just wait until this completes. Yep, so SQL plus .Aura env, Aura CDB2. Alright, so SQL plus /SSDBA, and then this is Aura CDB2. Aura CDB1 is my container database environment, that is multi-tenancy database, and Aura CDB2 is a non-CDB database, that is it's not a multi-tenancy database. So I will be using it now. So let it connect, and then let me fire startup. So let me wait until this opens, then we will start up our writing the tool. Okay, as you see on the screen. Okay, so let me redirect to my scripting here. Now I am writing my first of all, let me touch, and then I would say storage.sh. okay, and then I'm giving executable permissions to this storage.sh. That's fine. This is the first thing I do. So now I'll open my script. VI editor is the one that I'll be using it very often, and it is easy for me. So the first thing that I have to say is what is the shebang that it has to use. So I'm writing bash here, so it will be bash, and now you just write a comment saying that variable declaration. So the first part of the script should have the variable declaration in case if you are defining any variable declarations in future. Next thing is I would say functions used in this script. So all the functions I'll be defining here, and then script execution begins from here. That means definitely variables is something that you declare, that's it. And one more thing is traps, if any. If you have any traps coming up, you have to only define those traps at the beginning of the script, not in the mid of the script, definitely, because if in case if you wanted traps to be executed, as soon as you initiate the bash shell, you should also pass what traps it has to capture. So that's the reason you should first say here trap. I'm not basic. Okay, let me write trap don't allow people to actually use Control C. Okay, but initially, because I did not complete the testing yet, once final testing is done, I'll test this, so I'll hash it out at the moment. Now variable declaration, as of now, whatever variables I can think of, it is Oracle underscore SID is equals to nothing at the moment. It is empty, and Oracle underscore home, it is also empty, and then Oracle underscore base, it is also empty. Okay, so this is what I can think of, and also I don't want to set the path variable, let it be the default, so no problem for that. Alright, so now let me actually tell you something very interesting. As of now I can think of variables only these three, but in case if you had to use any other variables in the script later, first thing is I have to come here and declare them and then start using them wherever you need it. Alright, so because you might be having global variables which might be static across the complete tool, or you might be having temporary variables that you define within the functions as well. So I'm not speaking about them. Okay, so first thing is, let me now, after dividing my script into these parts, so the first thing is, what is that you can think? So the first thing that I can think of from the discussion is I need a menu such that the user can basically select option number 1 or option number 2 or option number 3 is quit. So first thing that I have to write as soon as somebody runs this tool is to ask them whether you wanted to view the table space utilizations or whether you wanted to resize the data file, right? So to actually write a menu, we know that select is the statement to use. So but before I don't basically write it directly. Instead I will do it like this: main underscore menu. So main underscore menu is the function name, isn't it? So I have to define the function here. So I would say function main underscore menu. So what is that it has to do? Open the braces and close the braces first, then start writing what should be the function. So what should be the function? For example, here I have to write select, and it should be do and it should be done. This is what you have to, please keep writing the syntax first and then write the next things later. So select opt in. So what are the different options I wanted? I wanted 3 options. So 3 double quotes, I will make it ready. And the first option is table space utilizations. This is the first option it should list. And the second option that it has to list is your data file resize. This is the second option. And the third option should be quit. Alright, so with this I'm going into the loop. So now if somebody says, I'm writing case $opt. So when somebody gives $opt in, there are 3 things, right? I'm also closing this one so that we are actually, where is it? ESAC. So I'm closing this case also. So whenever you open any loop, please make sure that you close it then and there and then come back to the project flow, because later on it will be very, very difficult for you to actually look at this flow. So that's the reason you have to follow these things. So in the case, so let me actually give one more return here and then one more return here so that I complete my case in this particular space. Yeah. So first option, whenever you see table space utilizations as an option that people have selected, then what is that you have to do? Go and in turn run another function called tbs underscore usage. But at the moment I don't have this function, but just for the testing purposes I'm hashing it out. I'm just saying echo you are, or I would basically say that it should be here. Echo you have chosen to view table space utilizations. This is what the message I'll give, and then it will go and in turn run this particular function, and another function I have to write. So because I did not write this function, after that it has to exit, right? So after it goes and shows me whatever I wanted, the next thing that it has to do is exit. Okay, so I'll say dd and then insert, and then it has to exit. So according to the syntax of case, for every option that you say, you have to end that option with double semicolon. So what is the second option I wanted? If somebody selects data file resize, again I have to tell them, first of all, you have chosen to resize data files. Alright, and this is the option, this is the message that they should get. And then instead of data file, now I wanted another function called resize underscore dbf, and then after it completes executing it, definitely it has to exit from the loop. And because the syntax says for the second option, this is the one. And if somebody gives quit, definitely just tell them thank you. That's it. I'm giving a message says thank you, and after that it should exit. Alright. For any other option that they select, just echo saying that invalid option retry. Okay, and that's it. All right, now I'm not giving exit here because I'm saying it to retry. The prompt should not come out of the console, right? So that's the reason, not exit. Now please see here, I have completed this job, but one thing that you have to remember is, because you are using select, definitely people will not see a proper message what to enter. So that's the reason, as I have discussed earlier, PS3 is the variable that you have to define, saying that please select appropriate option number. Only then they will be able to identify this. So before I go ahead, every function execution, whether it is happening or not, you have to make sure. So that's the reason, after I complete this, so let me actually storage. So this is what I have written so far. As soon as I run storage.sh, this function will be executed. That means it will in turn come and run this one. See that? See here? Beautiful. So it is asking whether you wanted to check table space utilizations or data file resizing, or you wanted to quit. So if I say 1, it says you have choose to view table space utilizations, and it has quit, because after it shows this statement, basically it has to go and execute this function that we are about to write later. Right? So that's the reason I'm just testing whether the functionality of whatever select and case loops I have written, whether it is fine or not. I'm just testing it here. So I'm again advising you guys, whatever you write, please make sure you test it then and there. Do not write the complete script and test it at the end. Every stage or every function that you're writing in the script, make sure you test them then and there, and then you go forward, so that life becomes very easy when you reach the end of the tool. Alright, now I'm testing second one if it is fine. Yes, it is fine. I'm testing third one if it is fine. Yes, it is fine. I'm testing if I give any other option, what happens? Say, it is saying that invalid option, please retry. Perfect. So my part of writing the first menu, see, come back to the document, writing up something to get this first job onto the top is completed. That's good. Now let me quit, and now, sorry, quit is third option, yes. Now I'm opening the script again. Alright, sorry guys, so script again. Now I'm going on with my second one. Because in turn this one is calling TBS usage, I have to hash it off. So I am not hashing off resize at the moment, because let me complete this TBS, table space utilization logic, and after that I will hash this off. Okay, so now let me start writing the second function here. So function is TBS underscore usage. So that's what the function name I gave, and let me write this off. So in the table space usage, what is the first thing that it has to do? It has to go and get the list of databases, right? So ask for which database it has to check. That means I have to show the user what are the available list of databases in the environment, right? So for that, what is that I have to do is this function will give you the list of databases on this server. Okay, so now I'm in turn going and calling another function called listDB. Okay, so that's what I have to do. Next, then I have to ask echo, where is it? Yeah, echo -n, please select, or I should say something else. Okay, I'll do like this. Again, I'll write a select loop so that people will select what should be the database it has to connect. So what I'll do is, I will say something like this. So I have to return that value. So I should say that variable value is equals to this one. Okay. So what is that I was thinking is, because the list of database, listDB is something that will go and execute, it will show you the list of databases, but I wanted to capture them into a different, variable also. So I will say that listDB in uppercase is a temporary variable which is only fixed for this particular loop. So I would say just go and in turn execute it like this. Okay, that's fine. listDB has to be executed. Now what is that I'll do? Write a select statement saying that listDB. Okay, so I would say, sorry, write a select statement in opt again in $list_db. Okay, so now I should ask the user do and done, and they have to able to select from this. So let me actually say ps3 is equals to choose the database number to connect. So they have to just choose it, right? So I have to say this and then close it, and then here I should say case $opt in. So let me close the case now first, and then if somebody chooses option number 1 or option number 2, I will not be knowing what is this list, right? So I would say anything in the list. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I should say something. Okay, so I will do something, not this one. Instead, if somebody does this, so if somebody selects from the list, what is that you have to do? Now go and set the environment variables of the database. So set env. So set environment variables is the another function that I have to write, but at the moment I should say echo you have selected the database $opt. That's what I will be saying the user, and then I'll be setting up the environment variables. So until now I wanted to test it, but for that I should definitely have a function called list_db already created, right? So now let me create another function here on the top with function name list_db, and then it has to be like this. And now what is that I'm trying to do is, okay, and one more thing I forgot to say, always try to go and write the functions on the top if you're calling them in a function. For example, you're calling list_db function inside the TBS. That means if you write this function after the TBS, it cannot actually parse it. That's the reason you have to declare this function above this TBS usage, because you're calling it in the TBS like this. Okay, now in the list_db, what is that I'm saying? Just cat /etc/ratab. In this, grep everything which is beginning with comments. That's what we seen. And then again awk. Okay, awk it, and then let me actually show you that awk followed by this one fs is equals to whatever is separated with colon, then print basically $1. So that's what it says, and this is fine. And now again grep-v cap, and then where is cap? Yeah, cap and then $. This is the list of databases that it has to capture, right? So that's what it does, and now whenever it executes, it will basically write that into this loop. So now what is that I will say, the output, whatever is listing from that output should be this one, and I should say that from the list. Alright, so now let me execute this. Okay, so now storage. So there is a syntax error near 58th line, so storage, and I wanted to go to 50th line, so escape 58. So this is the one which, okay, I think there are two dones here, so I should really doesn't need this one. Alright, so case, do and done, and where is case started? Actually we removed the case, right? That's the reason there is a problem. Fine, so now fine. Now let me check. Yes, it is asking table space utilizations. See, what is that it is saying? There is a problem with print command here with the syntax. So what is that I have to check first? I have to first check this whether it is working fine or not. No, it is not. So I should say until here that's fine, but what is the problem with this print? Okay, I think print directly $1 is what I have to pass, not the flower braces like this. Not even that. So let me actually come back to our script without wasting time to see what was the earlier, how did we actually print it. So this is how we printed. Why was this working and why was that not working? Okay, anyway, we did some mistake somewhere. Okay, flower braces I started here. That's the major point. Yeah. Okay, so because I copied it, I will again open it, storage, and then I will replace this one with this one. All right. So now let me actually run this again. /storage. Now table space utilizations. Perfect. See here, you have choose to view table space utilizations. Choose the database number to connect. So as soon as you click on one, it has to go and connect to that database. So you have selected the option, that one, that's it. So I did not say what to do. That's the reason the option is repeating here. All right. Now I am good to go. So I'm testing it. I'm moving ahead. So as soon as somebody selects the option, just set up that environment variables and come out of the loop. Okay. And I have to say here, after setting up the environment variables, exit. Now it is my duty to actually say, how should I set up the environment variables? Function set environment variables. And here, when I say set environment variables, pass on the value that the user selects. So whether it is Aura CDB1, CDB2, etc. So in this is another function that I am writing. So function spelling mistake, so I would delete it, and then I would say function set env. Alright, and then open this and then close it. Okay, now how do I set the environment variables? First thing is capture oracle underscore SID is equals to $1. And now this should be the value of oracle SID whenever I use it. So export it. Alright, now the next thing is, after somebody selects oracle SID, export oracle underscore home as something like this. What is it? Okay, oracle underscore home is equals to backticks cat this one. What will be the $2 will be the oracle home, right? That's the beauty. See here how easy I'm trying to make my life. So $2 will be the oracle home. That one should be set by the user. So I would be saying backtick again. Okay, that is what oracle home should be. But for which database I have to say, right? Where grep hyphen, and also just say grep $1, and then this is the environment variables. And then I should also say that's it. Base is not required at the moment. Oracle home is more than sufficient for me. So these are the two variables that it has to set, isn't it? So now let me actually tell this echo environment variables are set as echo oracle underscore SID is equals to $oracle underscore SID, and echo oracle underscore home is equals to $oracle underscore home. So these are the environment variables which were set, is what this particular command is telling you. That's it. So let me test it. Okay, so /storage.sh. Okay, /storage. Okay, now first option, that's fine. I'm selecting the first variable. Let's see whether it is doing its job. So it has set the environment variables for Oracle SID but not for Oracle home. That means there is a problem with Oracle home. Let me check what it is. So vi storage, and let me actually copy paste this one and see whether it is fine or not, because $1 is something that it has to actually accept. In case if it is not accepting, that might be the problem. So I should pass grep. Okay, so I would just copy this one first. Okay, so now I should say if I pass in Aura CDB1, and then if I actually capture this, whether I'm getting the correct required output. No. So that means there is a problem with this grep itself. So grep until Aura CDB1 am I getting? Yes, I am getting. And after that, if I say until this one, am I getting? Sorry. So if I just copy this until here, and then if I say why is $2 not working is what I should check. So Aura CDB1 is fine. I'm saying field separator is colon and then print $2. Why not? So I've come up with a different plan. I'm catting it and then I'm saying grep this one, and I'm using an if condition now. That's the beauty of it. So I just took a pause to do it. So now let me actually write this here and then we will discuss that. How did I do? Okay, because this is not working, so what is that I did is, so I'm completely removing this logic because of some XYZ reason, because $2 is something that is second argument that is passed into this. That's the reason it doesn't work. So what is that I'm doing is, I'm passing on this variable and saying here that here simply whenever $1 in awk is equals to SID, where SID is equals to, you know, Oracle underscore SID, whatever I get here, whenever SID is $SID, print the second column there. Now let us see how does it work. So with this, now if I say storage, now 1, 1, perfect. So I got database name and also Oracle home name set with the logic that I have used. So because $1 is a problem when I use inside it, and because $2 is again another problem because it will be thinking $2 is the second argument passed to the function. Because there is no second argument passed to the function, that's the reason we are not getting any output. Now let us go back to the script. Now if you see here, main menu, so what is the second job that we have done? Let us come back to the logic. So let me come back here. So where is the logic, guys? Yeah. So the first thing is I have asked which database it has to connect, and I've also set the environment variables. Now I have to go and connect to the database and list all the table spaces existing. So how do I do? Let me go here and say yes, because it is this one, so I should say, so yeah, again within this I have to say it should not exit now, and it should break the loop. It should not exit. So I should say dd, and it has to break. After seeing it, it has to break out of the select loop, right? So I should here say now this function will list the table spaces in the database. So I would say this, and then I should say list TBS. This is another function I'm writing now. So again I have to go up and then write this function also. So here I should say function list TBS, and then open the function, close the function, and then start writing it. So the first thing is SQL plus, but SQL plus will not basically work. So I should say $oracle underscore home slash bin slash SQL plus slash as sysdba. Whenever you connect, do it is what I use it. So this is what the mark I'm keeping. Whatever I write between this one and this one, the complete set will be executed inside the database. But because it has to connect, it is not a console, I should say connect to the SQL plus in the silent mode. That means it will not show what is what is being see the banner of the SQL plus, nothing will be displayed. Now I should say select name from v dollar table space. That's it. So let me actually first check it. If that is working fine, then I will do necessary modifications according to it. So now I should say dot slash storage first table space utilizations. Yes. Now as you see on the screen, there is a problem in connecting to it. In the SQL plus command itself, it is saying that hyphen yes, that is uppercase yes, not the lowercase yes. That's the problem. So now I should say here SQL plus Not only, I think not, that is not the problem. I should say sysdb A. Sorry, A. That's the problem. So now let me execute and see now storage. So first option, it's first database, and it is saying, okay, that's fine. It connected to the database, but it is saying that because you use dollar, dollar will be replaced with the variable name, right? So that's the reason we have to escape that dollar. To escape the dollar, as I said in the scripting language, backslash should be used. Now you see, perfect. First one, first database. So v dollar table space spelling mistake. So there are many typos. I'm sorry for that. Table space. All right. Now execute it. First one, perfect. Now as you see on the screen, you are able to see the list of table spaces available on this database. It has completed its job because that is what we said to do. That's it. But after listing out the table space, what is the next job? Ask the user to pick what table space he wants to check. That means it is our duty to actually loop them again into a select loop, and then let the DBA go and select what table space he wants to actually capture. Alright, so that is the logic I have to use now. But because the output is not in very good format, I would say that I would say here set lines to, okay, set lines doesn't make sense, okay, 100, but set pages to 300. That means 300 table spaces will be listed. And then now I would say set head of, okay, and then I should also say, I should not see the number of rows returned, right? So I would say set echo of, so that number of lines will not be recorded, will not be output of the screen. So now let me see if I am able to see this properly or not. Just I would say storage, then that's it, table space, first database, perfect. I can only see this, but I think rows are returned, so I should also remove this one. So how will I do is to set a proper command for this. So it should be set feedback off. So let me actually edit that also. Set echo off will basically not show what SQL has been executed. So set feedback off is also important. Now let me execute it. Yes, first option, first database, perfect. Let me check for the second database. First and then second database, perfect. So for the second database also, I'm able to see the list of database, table spaces, and also for the first database also, I'm able to see the databases, right? Now the next job that I have to do is, how do I go and get the table space utilizations for each and every database? Now, what is the next one? I should allow the user to go and pick up out of these things, right? So let me show how can he pick up. So now what is that to do? I will be rerouting the output of this function into a select loop again. Echo, please find the list of databases from Oracle underscore SID database. Sorry, it is list of table spaces, right? So it is not list of databases. So table spaces from this. Okay, and that is done. Now, but I'm trying to now say that list TBS is equals to dollar and then this one and then this one, enter. And now if you see here, then I should go and see first of all select in dollar list TBS, but here as I say, I should again, before I do this, again I should say PS3 is equals to choose the table space number to go further. Okay, now I should say this, that's it. So colon and then space will basically give a very good list, and select opt in, and then if I start a do, I should say, sorry, true, I should say done. That's fine. Now what is that I have to say? From the option that they select, I have to now go and call another function. So echo, you have selected $opt table space details. Okay, so that's what it is, and now it has to go and call in turn another table space that is nothing but your another function to list down the table space usage, that is tbs underscore usage. That's it. This is another function, but at the moment this function is not existing, so I'll hash it off and then I should say break. Okay, now let me check whether it is working fine until this point. Table space utilizations, yes, this is the list, perfect. So I'm getting the list now. Out of them, if I select one, it should say you have selected sysocs table space details, because the next function I did not write, it has broken out. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Perfect. Now I should basically write this function now. I should write this function. So TBS usage. So let me scroll up and write this function now. Function TBS, it should not be usage then, details. I should change, because TBS usage is already I have used here. So it should not be TBS usage, it should be TBS details. Fine. And now go up, and yes, function details is here and table space details is this, and it has to basically also know which table space it has to go and get, right? So I'm passing this $opt here, so I will capture it there. So here the first thing I have to do is a variable, a temporary variable, assigning with $1. All right, now I should connect to the database, right? So I would simply say I will use the same thing here and then connect to it. Until here there is no difference, I should say, but set head off is something that I have to not include. So let me actually copy paste until here and then edit, and do it is also what I have to include, and feedback off is okay, but set head off is what I have to remove. Now I have to first of all list out what are the list of data files in it, right? So I should say select name, or file underscore name and data files list from dba underscore data underscore files, where table space underscore name is equals to, it should be definitely $tbs. Alright, for this one just show the list of data files first and then show the list of utilizations now. So how do I basically show the utilizations? Again, I have to write a very good query for that, but before that I should just say execute dbms underscore print or something like this. I can do it again differently if I'm using dbms underscore output and put line. So I should say here set head off, and I should say execute dbms underscore output dot put line, and then I should say please find the list of data files belonging to this table space. This is what the message that they see on the screen first, and then they will see the list here, and then again I'm saying dbms underscore output dot put line. I'm just adding a differentiator so that they will see that that is the end of the list. And now again I'm saying set head on, so that now whatever command I will basically actually have, that one will include this. So I will say execute this one. I should need an empty line here, that's it. Now again I'm putting this and say please find the table space utilizations below for $tbs table space. Alright, so now this is also done. Now I should write a query. So let me actually pull the query here. So this is what the script I have at the moment on the screen that I show. This is what the script that I will be using to show you the complete output of the table space utilization. Alright, so now let me actually close this off and show you again. And here I should say exit. Even if I don't say it, it will basically come out. Now let me execute. Yes, this is the one. I wanted to go and see the tablespace utilizations of sysocs. So there is one problem about dbms underscore put line. I think put underscore line, that is the only problem. Apart from that, can I see the list of data files? Yes, I can see. Can I see the list of utilizations? Yes, perfect, I can see. See here, excellent. Now how can I make sure that this one will basically go off? So let me edit it. So I'm able to see it. That's perfect, very good. And now I should say something called set table space name that has to be reduced. So I should say call table space underscore name format a, and it should be not more than 10 characters. Okay, and this put line, the syntax is put underscore line. So I hope so it is put underscore line, and I should include that because that's the package name if I remember right. Alright, now let me execute it and see the beauty of it. First option, and then first option. Perfect. You have selected sysocs table space details. Perfect. And okay, because I said set feedback off, it is not showing me the output because set put line is not working here, right? So that means server output on is what I should say. So let me actually say here before this, set server output on. So because I'm also a PLSQL developer, I know these things and it makes sense to you now. Now you see the difference. Excellent. So I say select one. Perfect. Please find the list of data files belonging to sysocs table space. You can see the list of data files, and this is the end of this one. And then it is also saying you please find the table space utilizations below for sysocs table space. So utilization is this. How good it is? This is how I can make use. This is what I have completed as a first goal. But next thing that I have to show is for the list of data files that you have got, you should also make sure that you show the mount point utilizations also, right? That's what we have decided here. You used size, free size, extensible size, data files is done, and mount points also you have to show. So let me actually do that now. So VI, it is taking good amount of time, but that's fine. We are learning a lot of things, right? So let me actually show you, and this is done. But I should basically collect this output to a different value, right? So let me show this out. And where is the data files? Okay. And I should say function here, another function which it has to execute, function, and then mount point, okay, empty underscore usage, and that is the next function I have to write. And this has to open, this has to close, and here I have to basically go, and I should say after this you should also go and say empty underscore usage also you have to call, and for $opt. So now I'm coming back to this where I have to first of all capture. So let me go, and the way that I have to connect to the database is there is no difference. And let me copy this and paste it out here, and then I should say again do it, and then I should start writing set head off, set lines anything 200 or it can be anything, and then set head off, and then echo off, set feedback off, and then now you say select file underscore name from db underscore data underscore files where table space underscore name is equals to $tbs. Now you are capturing this into a variable value, right? So now this is what you have to do. So once this is done, and this is do it, and now you should say whatever output that you get from this, make sure that you redirect that output to another variable called list dbf. So this is what the function that you are trying to capture. So you say dollar and then this one, and then this is where it ends. So this is what it has to go and actually execute, and then it has to give you the output here. Okay, so now I'm sure, or let me actually verify echo dollar list dbf if this is working fine or not, because that's where I'm just doubting. 1 1 and then 1, that's fine. So there is a warning. So this is not how you redirect the output of your SQL prompt to a variable value. So let me actually come up with what should be the method. I think that should be the correct method, but delimitation is what I did some mistake somewhere. So I think this one should basically end here, and instead I have to use it here. I think this should allow us to do it. In case if it doesn't, let us see what can be done. Alright, so let me actually check this if that's fine. Yep, that's fine, but I don't see any output on the screen, though I say echo. That means let me actually see vi. There is no error at the moment, but there is no output as well, because I think I did not end up this select statement like this. That's the reason I'm not getting the output. So now let me actually rerun it. 1 1 1. Perfect. I can see the list, right? Now I resolve this problem. Now I'm taking this output to a variable. Now next thing that I have to do is first cut down this variable, and for I in dollar list dbf. Okay, so that's the variable I have given. Do and then done. First thing it has to do is for each and everything, it has to first go and identify what is the mount point name, isn't it? How can you identify the mount point name? The first value out after we awk it, right? So I should say echo dollar list dbf, and out of which awk it, and where field separator is nothing but your double quotations or single quotes like this. Whenever you see such a field separator like this, and then you separate it, and after you do it, the first one that you see, so print, I'm sorry, again the mistake that I'm doing here, it should be here, print this one and then $1. This is what I am seeing. So now let me actually see what is that. You can get it out of the screen. Okay, so now again rerunning it here. 1 1 1. Perfect. You are seeing only slash. That means $1. I'm not getting it. Alright, so now instead if I said dollar, instead of $1, if I say $2, because there is an empty line there. So 1 1 1. Okay, I'm sorry. 1 1 1. Alright, so it is only still it's dollar, so let me actually correct it. Okay, so vi storage, and then first of all this list dbf, that's the problem here. So the error is because of this one. 1 1 1. Yes, CDB data, I got it. So I've got the CDB data here, and now let me actually open this, and because I'm saying print this one, there is additional print which I'm getting there, and if that is not the case, then that's fine. But 1 1 1, so I'm getting only CDB data. So if I have to use that, okay, that's fine. Now let me open it. Now this is what, instead of echo, I would just say, now pass it to the another variable, or you should simply say df hyphen h. See here, echo mount point utilization of the mount, of the below mount point of the below. So that's it, because I'm not making it very complex. I'm saying df hyphen h followed by, first execute this on the screen and then show that result on the output. And before that I should also say slash and then this one. Alright, so slash has to be included. So that's the reason. What is that I do is, instead of this one, I should say slash print here. Okay, now let me see if that shows me whatever I wanted. Yes, table space utilizations I'm getting, and also see here, the beauty is it is also showing you mount point utilization of the below. But because we gave slash, it is showing us slash twice, but I can control it in a different way, that I can just say slash or slash and then remove this one and then include that here. I'm sorry, I'm including it here. Now let us see how does it work. 1 1 1. So there is some problem here. Okay, so with that syntax it doesn't work, so I should basically remove this one, and then this one, and that's fine. I will include print here slash. Okay, so this is how I basically go and list out the mount point utilizations as well. So the first job is done. Whatever my script is doing is fine. So now let me check for the second database also, a rigorous check, and dot slash storage, and then I should check first second database. These are the list of table spaces. I'm selecting fourth table space called users. I'm seeing that what are the list of data files and also table space utilizations, and also wherever the data file is, that is slash pdb data, I'm seeing that utilizations also. See how beautiful is the script. Now if you believe me or not, how many lines of script did you write? Storage, and then 161 lines of script you have already written. Do you believe this? You should definitely do that. And now because I am done with the first part, okay, I am done with the, let us come back to the logic, you should not miss it. So you are quitting from the tool, that is done. Now you have to think about the second one, that is resize. That means this function is done. Now I have to write the second function. What is the second function? So if you go to the first line, we have defined what is the second function name. So the second function name is resize dbf. So now let me actually unhash this and copy this and then come back to this and then say create it. Let me create now function and then this one. Now to resize the DBS, again, what is that it has to do? It has to set the environment variables, everything is same, right? So what is that I'm doing? I'm simply copy pasting everything from here until list table space also. And because you have to select the table space list, everything else is also same. See here. So the job whatever I have done so far is the same until here for sure. That's the beauty of writing, function, so that you can recall them again and again wherever you wanted. So you are listing the databases, you are setting up the environment variables, there is no change. What is the next thing? You are actually asking the user and list the table spaces and data files. That's it, right? So now you have to say echo let's say please find the below list of data files for the table space and table spaces. Okay, so now you should say list TBS and DBF. So you have to write another function now to do this job for you. So now let me actually go and create this one. Function, this one, open the function and then close the function, and now I have to write something which is very, very interesting. First it has to connect again, it has to show me everything what I wanted. So to connect the database, I'll not do too much of exercise because I did that already. So this is how I connect, and yes, I should paste it now. So where is it? Yeah, this is where I stopped it. And please do not worry, in case if you are seeing that it is very troublesome to actually do all these things, it comes with the practice, that's it. I am not doing anything very magical because I'm very much used to this black screen and using VI editor. I know where am I staying, where am I going, how do I go, copy a paste, etc. I'm very comfortable with. But for you guys, in case if you find some difficulty, please make sure that you get out of that difficulty and choose the appropriate one. And now I should just say set head off, set head on, because I should show them what is the table space name and the data file name. Set echo off, set lines to 150 and set pages to 300, set feedback off, and then now I say select table space underscore name comma and then file underscore name from dbi underscore data underscore files. That's it, and then exit. Now I should come back here and I should say, after listing out something, now it has to go and resize, right? Before I do that, let me check this if it is working fine. Storage, and then select the second option. It is asking the first one, that's fine. Now from the first one, it is showing you the list of table spaces and data files, right? Perfect. I understood, the functionality is going on fine. Now just ask the user -n, please select the complete data file name which you would like to resize. So you're asking to give the complete name of the data file which we wish to resize, and then after that read dbf, and then after that also again read another value, what give the next size you wish. Example 40 gig. So it should be in this format. So format also I'm giving. So what is that? Read size. Alright. Now after taking these two things, now I am passing another function called resize or resize dbf. Now here I'm passing in $dbf value and also $size value. Now what is that I should do? I should create this function, right? So now I should say dd. Now I should create this function, go up and create it. Function, this one and this one. Yes, that's fine. Now I should say dbf again is equals to $1 whatever passed, and size is equals to $2 whatever is passed. And now I should say SQL plus again connect as SDBA and then fire this query. Do it, and then alter database data file, and then what is the data file? Completely it is $dbf resize, and then I should say $size. Now please remember, I will definitely say here that set feedback on, so that you will know whether the resize has been successfully done or not. So I'll write and quit. Now I would say storage.sh. Table data file resize. This is the second database, and I wanted to resize this ADO TBS. So I'm giving the complete name. Now it is asking what should be the size. Okay, I wanted to resize it to 1 gig. Now what is that it is happening? Let us see. At the background, it is running alter database data file resize command in the SQL prompt. Let us see until we see the output on the screen that data file has been resized. Let us wait for a while, because it is 1 gig, it has to pick up from the space. But before that, let me see if PDB has got enough space. Earlier we have seen, right? Yeah, 3.9 gig of space is there. So it should be able to resize it without any issues. As you see on the screen, beautifully you have got the output. database has been altered. So you have done whatever you wanted for this tool. So you wanted the tool has to have two options, you have it. You wanted the tool for the first option, this is what it has to perform as a logical flow, you did it. This is the second option that it has to have, this is the logical flow that you have decided, it did it. So successfully you have created one tool. So I'll close this session here, but please make sure that you do the same thing as a practice. Do not feel that this session is completely stretched, but the reason for stretching is very, very important. I wanted to execute it on the screen. This complete 1 hour that I developed this tool in front of you, you might be taking 1 hour, you might be taking same 1 hour, or you might be taking 10 hours also, but please make sure that you do the practice, on your screen, like me typing it on your screen. But going forward for the further tools, what I will be doing is, I'll be developing the tools and I'll be coming up directly in the next session and I'll be showing you what methods I have followed in achieving the goals. So that, we don't waste, it is not waste of time, but still, we don't actually spend time again, you watching my screen typing everything. But definitely, I'll be coming up with the flow. So the session will be very short, covering all the topics, but I'll be directly copy pasting from whatever I have written already before the session begins. So that's where we can save time, and then we can also complete all the tools as well. So the lot of time will be saved in the next session, avoiding the types. So I don't type anything in the next session. Instead, I'll copy paste everything, and then I'll be telling you what to do and what is this and what is that. That's it. That will help you to gain the complete knowledge. So thank you guys. Meet you in the next session. Bye.